A very good afternoon. Welcome to Younib TV News at 1. We have a lot lined up for you, from the ongoing Africa Climate Summit in Addis Ababa to measures against crime in Nairobi. But before we take a look at this and many more, let us first take a look at the stories making headlines.
We need to begin to build our own African institutions because they understand our ecosystem better. They know what our risks are.
Mnajua mmeshindwa na afya nzima, mtuambie irudishwe kwenye serikali kuu. Maana sisi kama viongozi wa muungano wa unions tumeanza kuona ya kwamba mmeshindwa na mmelemewa.
We got some incidences from that within the CBD where lights were deliberately switched off at around I think 9 p.m. thereabout. Hao ni watu ambao watashikwa.
Thank you for joining us. I am Jesicah Adiang. Now, President William Ruto has declared a significant commitment of $100 billion from the African financial institutions aimed at promoting the continent's green industrialization. This agreement, finalized at the Africa Climate Summit in Addis Ababa, united Africa's largest lenders in what is being described as the most sustainable homegrown climate finance agreement ever. While presiding over the signing of the pivotal cooperation agreement, President Ruto emphasized that the deal covers not just the financing of infrastructure, but also the creation of opportunities for Africa's youth.
Some may call the task impossible, but history proves otherwise. China multiplied its renewable capacity 20-fold in 20 years. India tripled its capacity just in 10 years. For Africa, the question is not if it can be done, but whether we will mobilize the finance, infrastructure, and political will to deliver at scale. Look up to the multilateral development institutions. We need to begin to build our own African institutions because they understand our ecosystem better. They know what our risks are, and there will be no exaggeration of whatever nature whenever they are looking at investment opportunities in Africa. These banks may be not so big today, but working with them, giving them the opportunity to invest in some of our large projects, certainly they will grow into big organizations that can then underwrite and support the development of our continent.
Now moving on to the capital, Nairobi. More than 300 suspects have been arrested in Nairobi following a police raid in a number of crime scenes. According to the police, some of these arrested were found with several items that have been reported missing in crime scenes. Speaking during the press conference at City Hall, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja confirmed that the investigations are underway into the rising wave of criminal gangs operating within the city's central business district.
Festival here at Uhuru Park that was very successful, a gospel festival. We got some incidences from that within the CBD where lights were deliberately switched off at around I think 9 p.m. thereabout. Hao ni watu ambao watashikwa. Tutakuwa na mkutano na wale wamiliki wa vyumba katika jiji letu kwa sababu outside your shop, outside your office, and a light, because we have regulations and city bylaws that you must have your own spotlight as well, in addition to the public infrastructure that we have the responsibility to ensure is there. Then that feeds into the security of the city, and that's what happens world over.
If we have an orderly city, it means even matter of security will be easier much more easier to execute, so that we all live in a city that is peaceful, that attracts business, and that is truly an international hub for this continent of ours. So we want to work with the county government, especially on issues of lighting. We want them to install more lighting, and those that are in place should be free of vandalism. That's why we want to urge our people. Let us not entertain people who are siphoning power, people who are vandalizing street lights.
Now on to health matters. The health sector unions have called for a 21-day strike following what they say is the failure of the Council of Governors to addressing issues affecting health workers. The unions are accusing the governors of stalling their efforts to convert the employment contracts of universal health coverage UHC workers into permanent contracts. The unions are now demanding that all UHC workers sign permanent contracts by the end of September this year, with the contracts showing that they started working in July 2025.
Sisi si wageni nchini kwetu, tutatumia sheria zilizopo na tumeamua kwenda kwenye mgomo siku 21 zinazokuja kutetea haki zetu kama Wakenya wengine. Kwa sababu wameitisha mgomo kwa kupinga masuala ambayo yanatakiwa ku motivate healthcare workers, sisi tutawaletea mgomo. All the UHC workers must be absorbed into permanent and pensionable term before and not later than the end of September 2025 without further delay. And this must be backdated to 1st July.
We are perturbed as unions that we have been dealing with issue of UHC absorption since 2022, and the weak link in absorption of UHC workers are the governors and the Council of Governors.
Na kama mnajua mmeshindwa na afya nzima, mtuambie irudishwe kwenye serikali kuu. Maana sisi kama viongozi wa muungano wa unions tumeanza kuona ya kwamba mmeshindwa na mmelemewa.
Our people have suffered under the county governments. Promotions are not coming. Redesignations are not coming. Medical cover is not there.
You have invited us for an industrial action, and we will respond decisively, because we have constitutional duty to defend the health of Kenyans.
Still on matters health, the Parliamentary Health Committee has called upon the government to enhance funding in order to improve healthcare facilities across the nation. This request was made during an inspection tour of hospitals in Uasin Gishu, where committee members assessed the condition of infrastructure and the quality service delivery. The committee observed that the purpose of these visits was to evaluate the state of hospitals, identify operational challenges, and formulate strategies to improve the healthcare delivery.
We want to see, according to the recommendations of the Departmental Committee on Health, there are issues we are going to address, especially when we meet them tomorrow. As we have gone round, we have seen what they lack, what they require, so that we can also help them to get more funding, if possible, from the budget this financial year, possibly where we will find it necessary through the next supplementary budget.
We'll discuss with them the various challenges that we have and opportunities, and see areas where we can also be helped to make ourselves better. In terms of the number of patients who come to MTRH from across the region, where we have a very large influx of patients from the whole of Western Kenya and also parts of East Africa, all the way to DRC and other places. These patients all come for specialized services. Hence the fact that we have patients who have to wait for some time before they get some of the services that we offer.
Now that story from Uasin Gishu County takes us on our first break here at Younib at 1. Stay tuned for more updates.
Ever the best. Hallelujah.
Welcome back and thank you for keeping it Younib. Now on to Matters County. Machakos Governor Wavinya Ndeti has sacked 36 county officials over corruption allegations. Speaking at the county offices in Machakos, Governor Wavinya said the officials, including those from the Departments of Administration, Trade, Billing and Tax Collection, have been issuing fake receipts and even understating the amount of money collected. According to her, the names of the suspects have been forwarded to the Criminal Investigation Department for further investigation and prosecution.
This statement seeks to inform the following public of the steps being taken to investigate, expose, and eliminate corrupt practices while reaffirming our unwavering commitment to ethical governance and justice for all. Despite existing policies and controls, fraudulent activities continue to surface in revenue collection. These fraudulent activities include underreporting of the collected fees, diversion of funds, issuing of fake receipts and permits, among others. While the county has invested heavily in digitization, our revenue collection system, it is quite unfortunate that some public servants continue to collude with members of the public to obtain permits through illegal means, whilst some are even unaware that they are being conned by these characters. Today I am here to name and shame them for stealing from the public and to hand over this case and many more still under investigation to the relevant authorities, the DCI and ESCC, to have them prosecuted and charged for their crimes.
Now away from Machakos County, Nakuru County, a family in Mahimahiu is pursuing justice for their daughter who was reportedly murdered with her body and that of her alleged lover discovered at City Mortuary in Nairobi. The family states that the 29-year-old Naomi Wanjiru disappeared on the 25th August 2025 after being invited for drinks by her deceased lover and friends at a bar in Lolongo, Machakos County. A police report reveals that their bodies were found abandoned in Embakasi and subsequently transported to the City Mortuary in Nairobi.
Aliitwa na bwana yake, alimwelezea ameitwa na rafiki yake ambaye anaitwa Kimani. Sasa wakaenda, alikuwa wanaenda ati hiyo klabu inaitwa Continental iko Mlolongo. Kwenda hakurudi. Hata aliacha ameambiwa watoto mfuge na hii koji ya juu msifuge na chini ili nikirudi ndio niweze kujifungulia. Tumezunguka, tumeenda hospitali, tulianza mpaka hapa Naivasha. Tumezunguka mamochari. Sasa jana ndio tumefanikiwa na nikapata mtoto wangu ambaye ako City Mortuary akiwa amekatakatwa, alafu anawekwa kwa barabara, ndio tuseme ni isemekane labda ni gari.
hiyo haki ya mtoto wangu hiyo ipatikane, asipotee hivyo bure. Juu alikuwa anatafutia watoto wake, hakuwa anaimba. Na huyo rafiki ya huyo Karanja apatikane na asikwe. Na huyo alikuwa anasema ati ndiye alikuwa bibi yake. Juu aliniongelezea akiwa na uchungu, na alikuwa tu anafungia hiyo roho ya Karanja.
Na tungekuomba Bwana Muchemi, tafadhali ingilia kati, kwa sababu sasa sisi tumeachwa hivyo. Tafadhali, hawa watu wenu wa kazi hawatufanyii kazi.
Now moving on to sports news, where Kenya's Harambee Stars are set to face Seychelles on Tuesday, September 9th, 2025, in their concluding Group F match of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers at the Kasarani Stadium. Although the match may not affect the standings, head coach Benny McCarthy has emphasized its significance as a crucial assessment for his players. The Stars' aspirations for qualifications were dashed last Friday following a 3-1 loss to Gambia at the same location. This defeat confirmed Kenya's elimination, preventing them from competing in the next year's expanded World Cup in Canada, Mexico, and the United States.
You know, you're eating right, sleeping right, training right, the right attitude to go in there and play international football, because you never know who's watching. You never know what can happen when you play a game, no matter who the opponent is. You get to make your family, country proud.
No, so far we've been very fortunate. None of the players have picked up injuries. We do have one concern. Abu Domar, he's suspended for tomorrow's game. We also had one player leave the camp, but I okayed it because it was an opportunity for him to join a club in Tunisia. I want my players to be really switched on and really go for it, because obviously every game is an opportunity to learn and better yourself and improve our stance in the group, but also it improves our ranking. So yeah, we don't take for granted.
All the best to the Harambee Stars. Now that story brings us to the end of our bulletin this afternoon. I am Jesicah Adiang. Thank you for watching, and on behalf of everyone from the news desk, we wish you a good afternoon and a fruitful rest of your day.